Well, on a day of record high numbers and the collapse of the Atlantic bubble, it's a good time to talk with Canada's Chief Public Health Officer. If the pandemic is a war, Dr Theresa Tam is our top general. We spoke earlier today about everything from how we got here to what we need to do for the holidays. Her answers are frank, but not without hope.
Listen, right here.
I'm just doing a little test here. 1, 2. Hi, Dr. Tam. This is Andrew. That's the $1 million question. All right. Well, Dr. Tam, very good of you to make the time to talk to us. I really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure to talk to you.
So let's talk about the fact that we are seeing pretty alarming case numbers across the country. And I'm sure on a personal level, they're deeply disturbing to you as well. My question is, in your mind, I mean, broadly speaking, where did things go wrong?
Well, I think at the beginning of the pandemic, with the initial wave, I think we actually knew much less about the virus, but there was a incredible collaboration across the whole of society in Canada in flattening that initial wave. Of course, over the summer months, some of those more restrictive measures, and rightly so, were relaxed a bit more. With the the force coming, looming ahead, with some of the increased interactions in society and more spread in certain situations, the cases unfortunately accelerated.
Right. So help me understand then the weak link as you see it in all of this, because I can't help but wondering, was it a policy rules issue? Was it a behavioral issue, which is I think what you're in part alluding to, or is it a logistical thing, a contact tracing, a testing issue? What is the source of your greatest concern that has led us to where we are today?
Well, I think it's a matter of all of those components coming together. So I think with the provincial territorial medical officers of health, they were really trying very hard to achieve a balance where they could keep up with the test, trace, and contact, as well as keeping society open. That balance, nobody knows exactly how that balance was going to be achieved. So they were trying very hard to provide that balance, really, really hard, until that balance, I think, tilted towards the acceleration in the cases faster than their system was able to manage them. And hence, we need both the public health system strengthening, but also the public to help in these instances to drive and flatten that curve down again.
So then let me ask you this. I mean, the fact that we are seeing much more severe restrictions come into effect, right across the country. What happens after that? I mean, do you have faith that the case counts don't simply slingshot back up after the lockdown eases? I mean, how do we stop riding the roller coaster?
That's a very important point. So during this period where greater restrictive measures are being put in place by the provinces and territories, this is the time to really ensure that if plans need to be shifted, they have to be, or strengthened, they have to do it during this time. There's need to, again, strengthen the testing capacity. There's enough, we keep putting out tests. How do they get deployed? And what kind of additional contact tracing and other capacities are needed? And of course, the federal government is there to support them. But you can't just take your foot off the brake pedal without additional capacity being built. Because if you did, as I said, the immunity level in the population is still low. So then the inevitable thing that's going to occur is that the cases will rise again.
Right, but I got to ask you about Christmas. I mean, you've got to be worried about the holiday season coming up, right? I mean, has it ever been a serious consideration for you to just, I don't know, explicitly tell Canadians, you know what, don't gather, don't do it, it's not worth it?
Well, I think we are essentially at that point where the communication is that Christmas is not going to be having any kind of large group interactions for sure. Even with family, you got to really think twice, avoid non-essential travel, keep to your current household contacts as much as possible. But we know if Canadians do decide to have a small gathering, still observe all the different public health measures. Not everywhere in Canada is the same, but really right now, if I looked across the country, that message probably should resonate throughout all provinces and territories.
I have to squeeze one more question in for you. Obviously, the vaccine, in whatever form it comes, is a source of great optimism for a lot of people. What else is there that makes you optimistic beyond that?
Well, there are many things. So, as you said, the vaccine is one of them. Increasingly, even in the last months, much has been learned about how to treat and take care of patients with COVID. So that's really important. There will be more treatments that we can consider as well. We will always see the end of a pandemic. No pandemic doesn't have an ending. And I think, again, we need to sort of stick together as a population, as a country, in order to just get through it. And so this is just a period of time where we have to maintain these measures.
Dr. Tam, I thank you warmly for your time, and I hope we get the chance to talk again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.